I think insurance gets a bad rap.
Wait, do you take insurance then?
No. Hey guys, just a little disclaimer that this week's video is a bit content heavy. So you might want to have some coffee for this one. Or some wine. I know that's what I prefer. So I think a lot of therapists dream of having a six-figure private pay practice where clients just line up outside waiting to throw all of their hard-earned money at you. Not only that, but the idea of taking insurance can be really intimidating. Most of us didn't learn anything about how to bill insurance in grad school. So when we hear things like CPT codes or coinsurance, it kind of blows your mind a little bit. So today, I want to break it down and talk about some of the pros and cons of taking insurance. In my next video, I'll also cover the pros and cons of being self-pay, because it's not as clear-cut as you might think. Okay, so first, let's start with some of the pros of taking insurance. Number one, when you're in network with insurance companies, even just one or two, you're more likely to build your caseload pretty quickly, usually within a matter of a few months. So when people are looking for a therapist, many of them start by looking through their own insurance directories first, just to see who's in network. If paying privately for therapy just isn't an option for them, then it's easier to stand out as the badass therapist you are when you have a killer website and an easy client onboarding system. Don't worry, we'll cover those in future videos. Number two, piggybacking off of number one, when you're an in-network provider, your clients are usually able to come to you every single week because they don't have to dish as much of their own money out for therapy sessions. This means that they're also more likely to reach their treatment goals faster, which means that you're gonna feel really effective and your clients are going to go out and serve as walking billboards for you, telling everyone how amazing you are. Number three, you generally don't have to spend as much time marketing your practice since you're likely to get a ton of referrals just because you're in network. These referrals can come from other therapists who aren't in network, as well as doctors, psychiatrists, or any other healthcare provider who takes insurance and needs someone to refer their patient to who's on that panel. Number four, taking insurance can help insulate you from the effects of slow times or economic recessions. Most people have insurance, so even if the market tanks and people are clinging onto their wallets, your clients will still be able to make it to their therapy appointments. You'll have slower times, like the beginning of the year when the majority of your insurance clients have new deductibles to hit. But overall, your practice will be pretty steady without too many dips in your caseload. And number five, taking insurance allows you to work with a much larger demographic. If you're someone who sees your practice as an extension of a greater calling or a ministry, and you want to use your skill set to help those who may not otherwise be able to access amazing mental health, then you can choose to be on certain panels. For example, say you want to work with those in the military and their families. You could consider getting a network with TRICARE. If you want to be able to serve those in low-income households, you can become a Medicaid provider. And if you're a social worker who has a heart for our older population or people with disabilities, you might consider becoming a Medicare provider. Okay, on to the cons. The list is a little long, so I'm going to go through them quickly. Let's move this out of frame. So the number one con to taking insurance is that their reimbursement rates are usually pretty damn low. I've seen them reimburse as little as $50 for an hour session. Since the rates tend to be lower than your private pay rate, that also means that you're gonna have to see a lot more clients to make the same amount of money as a therapist who's private pay. There can also be a ton of red tape when you're in network with an insurance company. Since they hold all the cards, they can limit how much time you spend with a client, how many sessions you have, and they can even control where you see your clients and which interventions you can use. Insurance companies also require you to diagnose a client. So the only way to be reimbursed is if you prove that there's some sort of medical necessity. So be prepared to get really intimate with your DSM, chasing money for denied claims, file audit, delayed reimbursement, and you're more likely to see non-ideal clients who may not value therapy as much as someone who's having to pay privately. So if you're interested in taking insurance in your private practice, you may want to start off by just considering one panel rather than getting slap happy and applying to every single insurance panel that's out there. They're all very different and the reimbursement rates also vary significantly. You can find out which panel is the most widely used in your area just by calling around to the largest employers and asking their HR directors which insurance company provides their mental health benefits. You can also choose an insurance company based on their reimbursement rate. Since rates can vary from like $50 all the way up to $150 per session, it's important to know what you're signing up for when you enter into an insurance contract. You can usually find out what their reimbursement rates are just by asking around to other therapists, and some insurance companies will even publish their fee schedules online. So as you can see, there's a lot to consider when thinking about whether or not to take insurance. Every practice is different, so you just need to do what's best for you. I took insurance when I first started, and it really helped me build my caseload quickly. You can always terminate your contracts in the future as long as you give enough notice. Most insurance companies require 60 to 90 days, but you'll have to check your individual contract. All right, comment below and tell me if you take insurance or are planning to and why. If you're private pay, did you start off taking insurance or did you just come out the gate being private pay? In next week's video, I'll talk all about the pros and cons of private pay practices. See you next week.